Hello everybody, welcome into Ghost Racing Network live here at Talladega Superspeedway. Getting ready for some Saturday night big time money racing tonight. We got heavy payouts on the line here for the FEG-PC Money Racing Series. Drivers getting lined up, and that means it is time to go down trackside, get right into some of your pre-racing ceremonies. If you're just tuning in, you are watching Austin Green here on Ghost Racing Network. Changed up the way the tower looks a little bit tonight. Black and white should make it a little bit easier overall for these guys instead of all the sporadic colors. But if you don't like it, feel free to let me know by the end of this thing. All right, Matt Lee made his return recently to money racing, and he finds himself on the pole tonight. He's going to have one of his NBG Motorsports teammates. That's Matthew Baker to his outside in second. How about Jason Main sitting third with David Sheets, the first running McCall Motorsports driver in the field tonight, starts in fourth. John Honeycutt and John Ellis Jr., who's coming off a win in the PGR Superspeedway Series, finds himself sixth. Second guy making up row three. Joshua McCall seventh. How about Ron Morris Jr. in eighth? Ninth place, Garrett Maines rounding out your top 10. It's going to be Danny Eshelman. Row six is going to be John Mullahan from McCall Motorsports and Devin Rea to his outside. I believe might just be Devin Ray. I think he told me about that, and I apologize. We're going to make sure we have that right, especially at least by next broadcast. Nonetheless, Ryan Baste starts in 13th, Sean Wilder in 14th, Ken McCall Jr. and Alejandro Montes Diaca making up row 8. Joey Allen 17th, William Fox in 18th, going to be Mitchell Daves in 19th with Dylan Jones rounding out your top 20. Chad Ross 21st. It looks like Michaela Steffs. That one's a little hard to see from our current view. In fact, let's move this up so everybody can get a better view in general of what we're looking at here tonight. Starts 22nd. Either way, Dean Grob 23rd, Casey Sawetch in 24th, Christopher McCall 25th, and the last driver rounding out the field tonight for 26 trucks is going to be Logan York, and it looks like his team name is York Buys Motorsports. We got quite a few teams, in fact, out here in the field tonight. It's going to be interesting to see which one can take home the most money, and we will talk about some of those payouts as this thing gets rolling and as we get further into it. Well, we bring up your race info now. You know where we're at, Talladega Superspeedway, no change there, but weather's always different here. 78 degrees here tonight, 55% humidity, partly cloudy skies, winds at 2 miles an hour. It's going to be the Talladega 40 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 40 laps at 65% fuel, unlimited tires, one fast repair, and fixed setups as we get ready to race around this 2.65-mile Superspeedway oval. Track temp 79 degrees as it is morning time here. So these trucks should be handling pretty good. Sun not going to be in the eyes of any of these drivers. No concerns there. And it's just all about, can you keep yourself out of trouble? We haven't had payouts as big as what they're going to be tonight. We haven't had something like this in a little while. I believe the entry fee might have been $40, $49. Again, you could see it on your pre-race poster. In fact, let me go ahead and pull that up here, my side stats, and I will let you know what the payouts were initially looking like and what they were based off of and how it's going to compare. So it was a $45 entry. It might have been $49 if you were late on your entry. And the payouts based on 40 drivers were going to be $400 for first, $350 to second and third, $125 for fourth and fifth, and $100 for sixth through eighth. Those are going to scale down a bit because we only have 26 out of 40, but it's still over half of that. So you know that first place is going to be going home with over $200. Second and third going to be going home with over 175, so still good payouts across the board, and you better believe these guys are ready to get at it and get going. A lot of people rising up here in the broadcast early. Good to see everybody out. Logan T, hope you're having a good night. Thanks for asking how we're doing. Robert Miller rooting on McCall Motorsports. Baker's Mom in here rooting on my co-host for Thursday nights. Matthew Baker, Timothy Connors says, let's go racing. That's a good way to get this thing started. All right, here we go. 40 laps at Talladega. We're going to start here. No stage breaks. Nothing out of the ordinary here tonight. 40 laps and green flag stops is the only thing to expect. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Twenty-six trucks all getting into fourth gear for the first time here today at Talladega. Still 2x2 up front. Again, could be the 3-wide rule. We're not sure. We'll probably have an idea based off how this first restart goes. But Matthew Baker up front with Matt Lee. Those two are going to be trying to coordinate a little something here, but I think for now they're going to try to keep those two lanes clogged. Seems like the best thing you can do when you have teammates here at the front is plug up two of those three lanes. Of course, that third lane, once it has the chance to get going, I think it certainly will. Now, looking at fuel calculations, I know it's early, but we're going to bring them up right now because they're going to be important as this race goes on. We would expect somewhere around 30 laps on a full tank of fuel, but you got to remember these guys are only getting 65% of that tonight. So I think we're going to look somewhere between 17 and 20 laps. I think more accurately 18 to 20 laps is the fuel window. But we're going to be keeping a close eye on it. And if that were the case, let's say these guys can stretch it 20 laps. This should only be a one-stopper as long as you can save enough fuel. That might keep everybody a little bit more conservative as this race goes on. 2x2, lap 1 did go to Matthew Baker on the outside. He's got David Sheets pushing, followed by John Ellis Jr. Jason Maines still running the inside. Behind them, the 50 of John Honeycutt. Don't believe he's got any teammates out here tonight, but he's going to try to make it work all by himself. The driver out of Orlando, Florida, driving right now only about an hour and a half from where I currently live. We'll see what he can do. Kind of made his return to money racing recently. That outside line with this new package, we talk about it every night, but it just continues to show up and be strong. And the inside, I'm telling you, when that third lane gets formed, which it is going to get formed right here. Here goes David Sheets. He's got to find some teammates, unless he was planning on dropping to the back, which might have been the case because John Mullihan, Ron Morris Jr., they decided not to go with him there. In fact, he's going to hop right in front of his teammate Ken McCall Jr. Might be setting up for some pit strategy. Here's Joey Allen. He's seen enough here too. He's ready to drop to the back, fall out of this thing for just a little bit, try to get his thoughts together. Mitchell Daves in the 13 truck's going to pull up a couple spots to the back. Bumper now of Danny Eshelman. Up front, Matthew Baker looking to do a little lane work here. Him and Matt Lee are going to get lined up together. That gives John Ellis Jr. and Garrett Maines the top to make it work. We know that the Maines boys are very dangerous when you give them a chance to start making some moves. And Garrett Maines, one of the best pushers, leader. Well, just one of the best overall when it comes to money racing and racing in general. The Coca-Cola Series driver, he is going to try to probably push his teammate clear. And the way these guys kind of like to play the games when you're on the outside is you like to hold the outside as long as you can until you know that the driver behind you is starting to get hot. And that's usually your chance to jump to the bottom. So if Garrett Maines gets John Ellis Jr. clear here, I would not be too surprised at all to see the 8 truck jump to the bottom, maybe even if it's just for half a lap or so. Let that 1 truck get some fresh, cool air to the front of the grill. Let it cool down. Although track temps aren't hot, these trucks still get really hot pretty quick. These guys are going to have to keep an eye on those temps all day here. Matthew Baker back up to the top line now, though. John Ellis Jr. not going to push the issue too aggressive now. If you stick with us here through a lot of the broadcasts, you kind of notice the racing always seems different in the different series we go to. FEG is one of those ones that I like to say it almost kind of replicates what you might see in real life from the guys. And in that sense, it's with a lot of money here on the line tonight, they're not going to go crazy full throttle all out from the start, going 3-4 wide. They don't want to risk it. Everybody's only got one fast repair, and you want to have that fast repair for the end because a lot of times you're going to need it. So with that being the case, that is going to be the reason why we're seeing all these guys just stay in double file right now, because believe me, there's been plenty of chances here for 3 wide. Nobody's taking it just yet, but that double file may not last for too long because you got some of the either non-teammates or smaller teams ready to go to the front. And how about it? Clutch Gaming Team being led by Ryan Bass doesn't have any teammates behind him right now, but what he does have is Devin Ray, and they are trying to make their way to the front as it stands now. The 73 trying to get a little bit of a side draft off John Mullihan, the 85 continuing to push, and they're going to get some help from the 14 here as well, Alejandro Montes Diaca. They're not making as much progress as I thought, but if that third lane can get up there far enough, they might get some biters, some guys that try to come out, make some momentum, get working with that third line up top. And I realized that the audio might have been just a little bit too loud. We apologize for that. Get it set up, get it fixed. And there it is. The momentum from the top line has finally made its way to the front. Ryan Bass looking for the lead here. He's not going to be able to get this time, though, down the straightaway. Matt Lee still in charge on the bottom. Matthew Baker in the middle. But how about it, Ryan Bass? This guy making a statement in a couple of different series. He's getting more and more aggressive as it goes on. Had a mistake the other night in the early PGR race, but he continues to learn. And he is showing that he is not afraid to run up here with the big dogs. But he is still contending and trying to find a way around Matthew Baker. NBG Motorsports not rocking with a lot of teammates tonight. In fact, it looks like they may only have Matt Lee and Matthew Baker. But that doesn't matter because you can see they're ready to be aggressive, and they're already at the front. Baker going to drop right back down to the bottom, pick up his teammate Matt Lee. That opens it up to John Ellis Jr. in the middle, and just as quick as the third lane got formed up and got to the front, it goes all the way to the back. 7 laps in here. And looking further towards the back, I think we got some fuel savers. I really do. I think McCall Motorsports they've kind of been switching strategy up at different points, but it looks like here tonight they're kind of playing it conservative early, going to try to get some of their guys lined up. Get ready for this pit stop. That is David Sheets, Ken McCall Jr., and Danny Eshelman. Now, John Mullihan, Ron Morris Jr., they were racing more towards the front, so we'll see how they all get lined up for the pit stops. But again, that fuel window is going to open probably right around lap 20. If you can make it to lap 20, you're only going to have to stop once in this race, and that's a big deal in your chances of winning this. If you have to pit, I would say anytime lap 18 or before, your chances of making it on one stop, not looking too good. So we'll have to see how everybody decides to go about it. Taking a look from the blimp cam. Again, 26 trucks here tonight. Big payouts. Good to see everybody coming out to watch. Timothy Connor joined recently. Good to see you in here. Jeff Merck not out here racing with his teammates. We got a stack up on the backstretch here. Does everybody hold on? Looks like they do. Further back, though, it's a mess. They're trying to get things sorted out. David Sheets, Dylan Jones making their way back on track. Now there's the 19 of Christopher McCall. Not exactly sure what went wrong there. Let's back this up and see if we can see what it causes this big checkup here. BB's in the chat. Good to see you in here as well, BB. Ooh, big stack-up effect. In fact, let's go to the chopper view. Is somebody just going to get a bad push here? Ooh, front of the pack, Ryan Based. Ooh, ouch. That's pretty hard hitting the right side of the outside wall. Trying to figure out who he was getting pushed by. Looked like it might have been the 8 truck. Believe it indeed might have been the 8 truck. We'll have to figure out who that is when we go back live, but that's what caused the big checkup. Now, everybody did a good job of keeping it together. But in Ryan Base's case, man, that's heavy damage. Now the caution is out. So we must have had another incident here just as we were checking out the replay. First caution here of the night comes on lap 9, just about a quarter of the way through this 40-lap event. Let's check on Ryan Base before we go anywhere. See how his damage is looking, and was he able to stay out here before? It looks like he was. Yeah, that's heavy damage. That's probably going to be a fast pair for sure. The Monster Energy Ford F-150. Not going to be too fast with the whole right fender ripped off. So let's go back and see. Not sure if the yellow flag was brought out because of this or if there was something else. We're going to go to the blimp cam and try to find where it's caused here. It may have been, I wonder if it was a manual caution. Yeah, it looks like it was here. And debating on the lap that came out, I don't think there was a scheduled caution. There may have been. I may have missed something in the pre-race report. But that may have just been the result of the incident on the backstretch. Again, didn't think that there was any scheduled cautions. However, there might have been. Comes on an odd lap, though, if that was the case here on lap 9. You see everybody else keeps it clean, so Ryan Base, the only one that really got the bad end of the stick from all that, but that caution cuts him a huge break as all the trucks making their way down to pit road now, and the man who made some contact with him, I believe, was Dean Grob in the 8 truck. Sure enough, he might have a little dent to the front end of that Chevy Silverado as well. He'll get it fixed, go back out. No fast repair needed for the 8 truck. But going back up front, we're going to have to watch who wins the race out of pit road as it's already concluded. Matthew Baker going to reclaim the lead here for the second restart of the night. Garrett Maines going to be starting in 2nd. John Ellis Jr. 3rd. Matt Lee 4th. John Mullihan in 5th. Jason Maines 6th. John Honeycutt 7th. How about Sean Wilder in 8th? Chad Ross 9th. And Joshua McCall rounding out your top 10. You see he's got the matching paint scheme now. Similar to Ken McCall Jr., one of his teammates. Both got the Georgia Bulldog schemes on here tonight. Boy, Matthew Baker. You know what's my favorite thing about this guy is whether it's in the booth or on track, he's just one of the best at both. Garrett Maines behind him as well. Those two ex-teammates still working really good together, but Matthew Baker is one of those guys that he's not afraid. At the end of the day, it is a video game, right? But there's also a lot of money on the line. Some guys go with different strategies. Some guys like to play it safe. And some guys like to lead every lap. And if it's meant to be, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. And Matthew Baker is going with the lead every lap strategy just about every night. And he's certainly trying that here tonight. We'll see if we can pull him in for an interview. We're going to take a quick break. We got to set up just a couple more things. It looked like struggling a little bit on the broadcast. But when we get back, we are going to have an interview with Matthew Baker. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Back live here at Talladega Superspeedway, and we told you we'd have an interview for him, and he sits and awaits us in the booth. Matthew Baker, also up in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, man?
Well, just talking about how whether it's on the track or off the track in the booth, you seem to be great at both, but you find yourself leading here tonight. First caution of the night, a lot of money, a little bit different than what we've seen in recent money racing. What do you think here? How's this race going to play out?
I mean, it's been relatively calm. You had the 3 wide for a little bit, but us 6 up front have been really working well together, Matt and I, and then the mains group. So I think if we keep cycling temps, get to that pit stop that we desperately need to separate the field, I think we got a good shot.
I know you're getting ready to go back green, but I got one more question for you here. You talk about cycling those temps. We see you try to get locked up with your teammate, but is it kind of a strategy of you want to stay on the outside line and just drop to the bottom when your teammate gets hot, or how do you go about that?
I think as the day progresses on, you definitely want to get to the top, but once we started off those first 10 laps, the bottom was a little more dominant if they had 3 cars really tucked up together with the temps, but as the temps rise, you really want to get towards the middle line. So I think that's what we're going to do. That'll be the game plan, is to stay there and stay hooked up. Only 2 of us tonight, so we're going to have to really be on point, but me and Matt usually work really well together.
All right, thanks for talking to us. Only you and one teammate here, Matt Lee, tonight, so we'll see what you can do the rest of the way, but good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end.
Thanks, bud.
And that was Matthew Baker. Again, we noted that one teammate, Matt Lee, hopped in there. They sound like they're working pretty good together, and he noted how clean it's been so far. That one caution, not really for any sort of wreck, as it much was just a little incident with Ryan Baste and the 8 truck as well. They got it sorted out. We got the track cleaned up, and we're back racing here at Talladega. As we switch you back over to the thicker, Garrett Maines, John Ellis Jr., 2 teammates locked up behind them. The first McCall Motorsports truck they're going to find throughout this field here tonight, that's John Mullihan. He's going to try to make something happen. Can't find a lane right now, and if you're on that bottom, you're kind of trapped there as it stands right now. 3 wide has not been a big factor in this race so far. We saw that lane get working a couple times, and you heard Matthew Baker say he thinks as the day goes on, as we are only in the morning right now, he thinks that top line is going to become more and more important, so we'll keep an eye on it now. They're still not good to go on fuel. However, this is certainly going to shake up the fuel window, and you got to wonder, do you have some guys decide to pit here right on that as soon as the fuel window opens? I would say somewhere around lap 21, 22, or do you maybe try to run it out a little bit further to around lap 30? That's going to be the question. In this package, more trucks the faster you run, but at the same time, if you're McCall Motorsports, you got plenty of trucks, and if you can execute on pit road and you feel confident in your strategy, I think you go early here, but we'll have to see how these guys decide to go about it. Mark Vaudell in the chat room on his teammates. Good to see you in the broadcast. Wish we could see you out on track here too, though, tonight, Mark. Duck Duck Goose in here. Haven't seen you in a while, Duck Duck. Hope you're doing well. Track temp gone up about a degree so far here since we got this thing started. Now it's 79 as it is. Looks like 6:30 something here in the morning at Talladega. In the morning races, you know, if there's a race we're going to try 3 wide, I think it's a good night to do so because the track temp not hurting these guys. We know when it's hot, it is slick, and these trucks can be a handful. But right now, Garrett Maines just working the lanes a little bit, getting a feel for it. Sometimes when guys work lanes, those second rows get really impatient, and they want none of it. We'll see a lot of 3 wide, a lot of switching for the lead. But right now, the leader not throwing late blocks. Again, just kind of controlling the lanes, hops up, making sure everybody gets a little love, a little fresh air. Just as he goes up, lets his teammate John Ellis Jr. cool down for about short shoot or so, and then he drops right back down to the bottom. Garrett Maines, that is. Now let's go to the back, go through your running order here a little bit as these guys continue to race it out. In fact, we'll keep the action and the cameras up front, but we'll take a look at that running order. Currently sitting last is going to be Ryan Baste. Actually, did he get the damage? We are going to hop back here for just a moment. Oh, he did not choose to use his fast repair yet. That's an interesting strategy. We'll see how that pans out for him. And Casey Sawetch, not up with the lead pack. Going to need a caution as well. Chad Ross for Team 3 currently finds himself in 24th position. Last truck on that pack, Joey Allen 23rd, Devin Ray 22nd, Michaela Steffs, leading Steffs in the 49 truck, sitting in 21st up a position from starting. Dean Grobin 20th, Danny Eshelman 19th, Logan York in 18th, William Fox. That's another one of the Clutch Gaming Team drivers. He finds himself in 17th. David Sheets from McCall Motorsports just in front of him. Mitchell Days 14th, Sean Wilder in 13th, Dylan Jones 12th, Christopher McCall 11th, John Honeycutt 10th, and everybody else on up. We can't name them because they are switching too much right now as we are 3 by 3 here down the backstretch into turn 3. And all that calmness is all of a sudden going to change here in a hurry. Matthew Baker was on the top line, goes right back down to the bottom. And Joshua McCall one of the newer additions, I guess kind of still newer additions to McCall Motorsports, but boy, he has been a huge addition. Has found himself in victory lanes a couple times, and tonight he could find himself potentially in for the biggest payday he would see yet. Jason Maines cleared the bottom as well now, but when we see 3 lanes, that's when we really start to see the bottom start to struggle and start to fall back. And that seems to be the case right now. Matthew Baker cleared by about 2, almost 3 trucks for both top lanes. But Garrett Maines chooses not to drop down, and that really hurts Joshua McCall's chances of being able to go to the middle. You know, his teammate, Ken McCall Jr., has to be getting a little toasty. Christopher McCall up there trying to provide assistance as well. And they're going to tag on 3 to 4 more trucks as we hit 25 laps to go. Matthew Baker back up to the middle line now. Got the push from John Ellis Jr. He's going to get some fresh air. Him and John Mullihan tandem up. But now the 05 up top starting to fade back, and I think that's just a result of Ken McCall Jr. maybe starting to get a little too hot. Let's take a ride on board with somebody here mid-pack. And this is riding just behind Matt Lee. And this is going to be on board with Jason Maines in the 1 truck. You see, he's sitting in the middle right now. Doesn't have too much pressure, but look how pretty of a wheel he holds. Just ever so slight movements. Doesn't have to do any side drafting from that position. Just has to hold a pretty wheel. Now, the inside, always a little bit harder of a position to be in, John Honeycutt, because you see when the truck swerve down like that, you can't see the yellow line anymore. And you just got to hope that the truck in front of you, in this case Ron Morse Jr., is also holding a pretty wheel. Now here's a little bit further back, Devin Ray out of Bassett, Virginia. He's going to try to get the 3rd lane working. Not too many options, not many places to go here. But maybe he could try to make a friend or two in McCall Motorsports. This is one of the Dega Pro drivers. One of the Dega Pros is one of the newer teams. I believe it's kind of being led by John Ward, but kind of a split off of a loose, smaller team getting formed. But Devin Ray is one of the heavy hitters for that team, one of the leaders of it. He'd like to have a shot at the money tonight. A lot of positions being paid out here tonight. In fact, it's almost 1/3 of the field that's going to be paid on your top 8. We're going to go full line here. We're going to settle it down for just a moment. These guys all going to be real careful trying to get around the lap truck here. And Ken McCall Jr. he does make some contact with the 91. He somehow holds on. Man, that was a scary close call. And in fact, that's not a lap truck. That's Sean Wilder in the 91. It looked like a lap truck from the initial switchback, but man, that was a close call. Ken McCall Jr. had to get out of the throttle and back up. They all hold it together for the moment, but that's really going to break up the momentum in the 3 wide, and we're going to have some guys, they're going to have to fall to the back and regroup after this one. In about 3 laps from now when we cross the line this time, that's about where that fuel window opens. I think that's where we might start to see some of the pit stops. The question is, which strategy is going to be the winning strategy? Oh, big move here. It's not going to work. Somehow they make it, though. Oh, my goodness. Matt Lee looked to go up. Not sure if he was trying to throw a block on Jason or what happened there. They got all out of whack again, and that one looked like a caution for sure. Holy moly. 2 big saves in the course of just 1 lap. And with 22 to go, the race that was quoted as pretty tame by a couple drivers here early, all of a sudden not so tame anymore. Back to 2x2 down the backstretch. And bringing up a little bit more about this pit stop, it is going to be the only stop from here on out. We noted that, but that means it's a money stop, no mistakes. And gotta be honest, we really have not seen a green flag stop in really any money racing series for a little while here. And that makes you a little worried about where guys can have trouble, maybe a wreck on pit road, and that could certainly take out a lot of guys and ruin their nights. John Ellis Jr. still leading the bottom. He's got his teammate Garrett Maines in the middle. But back up top, McCall Motorsports, you know how persistent they're going to be. And they're trying to get it going again here. Joshua McCall followed by Christopher McCall, Ken McCall Jr., and David Sheets. And with them going 3 wide here with the lap count that we have left, I'm thinking maybe they're actually thinking of a later strategy. We'll have to see how they go about it. Maybe they're trying to pit with another one of the big groups. But just like that, back to 3x3, and now this time there is going to be some lap traffic. You can see it in the distance. I'll show it to you here on the track map. There's the lead pack, and they're coming up on the 25th place truck of Casey Sawich. Ooh, man, that 3rd lane was getting really out of whack, and when I say they're coming up on, they still got some distance to go. Ryan Based, reckon. Dang, a split second we take it off, they're going to pile it up. And we got smoke, trying to figure out who all was involved in this. Looks like Joshua McCall gets back rolling. And is this Maines? Sure enough, it is. Jason Maines. And he is not rolling too well. He must have heavy, heavy damage to the front end of the truck. Couldn't see it, but he's just going to tow immediately. Oh, yeah. Front end is destroyed. And you saw him starting to get out of whack on the 3rd line. And somehow this is going to translate. So right here, you kind of have that snake look. The 3rd lane is going to just wash up. Not sure what happens here, as Christopher McCall was getting hot, or if he just washes up. When he gets up top here, no harm, no foul here. Ken McCall Jr. gets up to get behind his teammate, the 85 of Devin Ray. Tucks back low, still looking for the issue. The 05 of Joshua McCall. Ooh, that looks like some net code from that point of view. We'll have to look from the chopper. But if that is net code or whatever it was, it turns Jason Maines up hard into the outside wall coming out of turn 4. Everyone else scatters and avoids it. Joshua McCall with some decent right front damage, but Jason Maines for sure got the worst of it. Let's go back and look at this from the chopper cam. It looked like some net code from that perspective. Watch the white and red truck second on that middle line, and then the bright red truck first on the outside. And man, that's really close, but it does look like a little bit of net code. Jason Maines, just nothing he could do about it. Kind of got blindsided in the right rear. And this is Joshua McCall. He might have just been trying to go for a little bit of a side draft here, or he was thinking about tucking the line. I think he was going for a side draft, and it is really, really close on whether or not there was ever contact. We'll take a look from a couple more camera angles here. In fact, let's take a look from the left front. Here we go. Ooh, and that is not... That view... How about the right rear of Jason Maines? See if this helps us out a little bit. And you can see... It's really close, but I think there was just a slight bit of net code there. Unfortunately, as you see the back two tires come off Jason Maines. Oh, come up in the air, rather, for the one truck of Jason Maines. And for the final shot of it, let's take a ride on board. Pretty big hit. In fact, let's take a ride on the nose. And there's the damage as well on Joshua McCall. That's probably going to be a fast repair for both of those drivers. Definitely the one truck. Unfortunate news for Jason Maines is that he did have to tow. You see him out of the seat right now. He's taking a look at what just unfolded. And then Joshua McCall, he was able to limp it back to pit road. So Garrett Maines is being scored as your leader. He is up 8 from where he started, but no surprise there. You know he was going to find his way to the front sooner or later. Matt Lee second, John Ellis Jr. third, Matthew Baker fourth. Christopher McCaldo, biggest mover in the field right now and biggest mover of the night, up 20 positions from where he started. Driver out of Savannah, Georgia. Ron Morse Jr. in 6th, owner of Tuesday Night Thunder. Don't miss out. Going to be back this Tuesday at, it was going to be initially at New Atlanta. We got to change to a different track. David Sheets, his teammate, another McCall Motorsports driver in 7th. Dylan Jones 8th, Danny Esserman 9th, and John Honeycutt been having a solid night inside the top 10 just about every time we've talked about him, and he currently rounds out your top 10 as it stands. Well, this race has been pretty clean so far. This should be the last pit stop. Guys probably already came down the pits while we're looking at replays, but going to be saving some. Going to be close. I don't want to say for sure, but with these caution laps, I think these guys will be good to go, or at least they'll be really close. We'll have to see how it all pans out. Let's take a look at a couple announcements that we'd like to go through these races. Next place we're going to head here on Ghost Racing Network is going to be over to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. Had an off week, but we're back with the JBR Atlanta Summer 200. Pretty sure it's at New Atlanta. Have to get confirmation on that, at least from the thumbnail it is. $100 on the line, top 3 payout. That's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. If you got nothing going on Monday night, come check it out. We always appreciate the company. FEG Money Racing had 2 races last night. Not sure who got the win. There's a little drama involved. Not the case tonight. Things have been a lot more calm. Really good race so far. Again, only 2 cautions here in the 20 laps that we've had so far. First one, just kind of a little bit of a racing incident mix up with the 73 and the 8 truck. And then this one, our first actual crash incident of the night involving Jason Maines and Joshua McCall, but it got sorted out. Shout-outs to our top 3 Super Chatters. Most recent Super Chatters, of course, Richard Elliott leading the board, $20 worth of donations for Super Chat in the last 2 broadcasts. Last broadcast specifically sent us a 10 in Super Chat. Shout-out to Richard for that. John Mullihan with the 10 and one of the few previous Super Chats. And then Chris Carter with the $4 donation in Super Chat as of recent. And a final reminder, Ghost Racing Network does now have the membership program. And if nothing else, we appreciate your subscriptions. Nonetheless, of course, the free subscription that a lot of you here have that are watching tonight. And we're not asking necessarily for any more, just letting you know if you were interested in getting any more. Ghost Racing Network does now have a membership program. I believe it's like $4.99 a month. I'm not 100% sure, but you get access to a couple bonus emoji stickers, certain perks. You get, I think it's quicker feedback in the chats as well. Things get highlighted and whatnot. And thinking about adding some more perks, such as specific Discord roles and the Ghost Racing Network Discord, and maybe special perks for money promoters. I know Logan in the chat when we started this thing said you guys should make Ghost Racing Network shirts and hoodies. Had a couple people ask that, Logan, and I mean, hey, I think a green, white, and black Ghost Racing hoodie would look pretty sick, but gotta have enough people interested in it, so we'll have to see about that as things go on. And then, of course, Bryce has the red Ghost Racing Network, the owner. See what people prefer. All right, Larry B joined the chat, says, hey, Austin, you the man. Hey, you're the man for being out here tonight. Appreciate it, Larry. Getting ready to get this thing back rolling. We are officially over halfway through the Talladega 40 tonight for FEG Money Racing. Again, $49 entry tonight, so you know the stakes are high, the tensions are high, and the racing, as always, is fast and chaotic. Garrett Maines, Matt Lee, row 1. John Ellis Jr., Matthew Baker, row 2. Christopher McCall with his teammate, Ron Morris Jr., row 3. Green flag back in the air. And how about a little crank it up to get this restart going? Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's Crank It Up segment with 15 laps to go. I hope everybody did enjoy. Garrett Maines still leading the way. Nothing too eventful during our segment. The one truck, though, working the lanes a little bit. Now up top with Matthew Baker and Ron Morris Jr. The bottom being led by Matt Lee and John Ellis Jr. Christopher McCall back up inside the top 8 now. You see him third truck on the bottom. And last man in the money right now is going to be David Sheets. Dylan Jones, the 11 truck, always finds a way to get to the front at the end of these things, and he is doing so now. Going to be 14 laps to go. It's crunch time. But there could still be some guys saving fuel. I got to be honest, I'm shocked that we have not seen 3 wide yet. Danny Epsterman looks like he's getting a little antsy. It'd be interesting to see if Logan York decides to go with him. Out of 4, he's taking a couple peeks. This time he's going to take it for real. Goes up top of Devin Ray. No, excuse me, that's John Honeycutt, actually. And they're going to make this thing work. And in fact, it looks like Devin Ray might have been one of the guys in the third lane trying to make it work. In fact, sure enough, he is the 85 up top, 4th truck back. The 50 of John Honeycutt made the block, and he now leads the top line. Now third lane is going to have a ton of momentum coming down the straightaway this time. Watch this. They're going to try to get it cranked up, get about even. Garrett Maines, will he have to do any side drafting to hold off the momentum? Not going to have to worry about it this lap. They couldn't quite get all the way there, at least not on the backstretch this time. But, you know, we always talk about, I like to refer to it as, turn the audio down just a little bit there, still a little bit loud from our Crank It Up segment. You know, when we talk about 3 wide, sometimes it looks natural, sometimes it looks forced. Just about all the 3 wide that we have seen here tonight has looked really natural. And that's always a good thing that you see as a driver. It looked really natural this time as John Honeycutt to the front for the first time tonight. No teammates, and it doesn't matter. Garrett Maines reclaims the lead on the inside just as Matt Lee gets a nose out in front on the bottom. But John Ellis Jr. doing a heck of a job pushing, but this is where it gets tough if you're on the bottom or middle line. You can't go up and get any fresh air like the top line can. You got to really make sure you do a good job of managing those temps. I know a lot of times we expect there to be a caution in the final 10 laps, but if for some reason there's not, and that truck's overheated with 2-3 laps to go, you're going to be in trouble. You're probably not going to be able to push the guy that you're pushing. You're probably not going to be able to get him to win. And also, interesting enough with this new package, it's not like the old package where you can just kind of arrow push and just slowly recover those engine temps. if you back off even for half a lap with these trucks, you just lose so much momentum, so much track position. You just can't afford to do it. And the 50 of John Honeycutt. How about, you know what? We just talked about him going to the lead, and Matthew Baker back up to the top line. He's ready to make a challenge. Garrett Maines thought about throwing a block. Didn't have a chance at it, so now he's going to get a push from Ron Morris Jr. Matt Lee back to lead on the bottom. He might jump up to the middle. There he goes. And now you got NBG Motorsports in front, on the middle and up top. Those are the two preferred lines. But if Garrett Maines gets clear of the top here, I think maybe he takes a shot, jumps up with Matthew Baker. Meanwhile, John Honeycutt trying to fishtail Matthew Baker. He's got the two rear wheels off the ground with how hard he's trying to push the 5 truck. Garrett Maines has probably the freshest temps of all these trucks right now pushing. Christopher McCall, though, another very strong pusher for McCall Motorsports. He sits on the bottom. Going to be coming to 11 laps to go. Matt Lee almost gets turned out of 4. Big wiggle as he has to slide up top in front of Matthew Baker. Garrett Maines was able to back off just a little bit, and Matt Lee with a heck of a save. These guys have been putting on a show tonight in terms of the save category, and Matt Lee just added to it. Oh my goodness. Somehow holds on to the 3 wide, continues. Ron Morris Jr., we talk about a man due for a win. He's looking like he wants one tonight. The very aggressive move down to the bottom line. He makes it work, and now he challenges on the bottom. Garrett Maines still in the middle. Matt Lee still up top, though. I got to think Matt Lee's thinking about dropping back to the middle. Sure enough, there he goes. Bottom, not necessarily the place to be, but John Ellis Jr. is trying everything he can to get Ron Morris Jr. up there. It's not going to be enough as Dylan Jones now drops back to the bottom. Once we hit 10 laps to go, well, not so much 10 laps to go because it's already been crazy as it is, but things are just going to continue to get crazier and crazier. Everybody's still looking very steady. You saw that track temp still nice and cool, under 80 degrees. Handling has really not been an issue, and it's probably part of the reason these guys have been able to save these trucks a couple times when they've got out of shape. And Dylan Jones, you don't really see him much of the whole race. All of a sudden, the last 20 sneaks in the top 10, and just like that, with 10 to go, he's inside the top 3 and fighting for the lead. And Matthew Baker, watch this view right here. This is where it really shows you the run. The 50 is going to get locked onto the back bumper. If he can get a little bit of an arrow push, boom, there it is. And look at the big run that's coming from the 3rd lane here down the backstretch. Middle line gets about 3 to 4 trucks stacked up. They're going to be able to hold off any momentum from both lanes. But down into turn 3, these lanes continue to get tighter. Ooh, Danny Esserman got a little bit loose up top in the 26. Holds on to it. Man, he almost got down into the 91 run in the middle line. And that could have been disastrous. But that top line continues to fade. I'm interested to see here. Matt Lee kind of has a choice to make. I think he sticks to the bottom here. But Garrett Maines is clear. He's clear up top if he decides to take it. How long does he stick with Matt Lee? Does he try to go for the win himself? First place paying more than 2nd and 3rd. Now 2nd and 3rd paying the same, but everybody's going to want the win at the end of this thing. 9 laps to go, and it looked like from that view, we might be having some lap traffic to contend with here in just a moment. Sure enough, going to have the lap truck. I believe that's Ryan Baste who had trouble earlier. Looks like he might have used a fast repair, but unfortunately, he is in danger here of going a lap down right now. Jason Maines is the only truck a lap down. Jason looking for a caution here as well. He could be in danger of going a lap down. Actually, I don't think they'll catch him by the end of this thing. Ryan Baste respectfully going to drop right down to the apron. Doesn't want to be in the way of this great battling that we have had up front. They get through him. 3x3 to 73, back up on track. The 11 of Dylan Jones still leads the bottom line. You still got Matt Lee in the middle with Garrett Maines and Matthew Baker up top in that 3rd line. Not sure if they were just cooling down for a little bit. They're making a charge, and there goes Garrett Maines back to the bottom. Lines up with his teammate Dylan Jones. Matt Lee starts to fall back. I think Ken McCall Jr. got to his back bumper just in time. Interesting the way these trucks work. Taking a look at the speeds there on the bottom right, but it used to be that move Garrett made. Matt Lee would have fallen way too far back. Garrett would have got clear to go back up, but you can really slam draft with this new package, and guys have been making full use of that. In that case, Ken McCall Jr. was able to give Matt Lee a pretty hard bump mid-corner, and Lee was able to hang on to it without any trouble. They're going by the lap truck of Joshua McCall. No problem as they go 4 wide around him, 187 off of turn 4. And we're going to be coming to 7 laps to go at the stripe. This time, Matt Lee with another little bobble as he lost his help. Ken McCall Jr. with a powerful move up top and then back to the middle. And just like that, he's looking for the lead in the middle line. Matthew Baker and John Honeycutt, each lap they work together, the better the chemistry gets. Meanwhile, Matt Lee probably right now a little upset that he couldn't do anything about that move. And Garrett Maines is going to jump back to the middle, giving his teammate Dylan Jones some fresh air. Ken McCall Jr. would like to push this one out in front. That would open him up. Actually, you know what? In general, the middle line tonight, I think that's really been the place to be. We have seen time and time again where the middle has gotten 2 trucks clear, as they almost do right there. Bottom though, Dylan Jones almost gets turned. Can he hold on to it this time? Gotta slide back up on track. Now they're gonna go 4 wide. Ron Morris Jr. in a bad spot. This is awkward. How long can they hold on to it? 4x4, we're gonna enter the trial that way. They're still trying to get it sorted out as it goes back down to 3 wide now. Logan York back down in front of the 76. And everybody looks like they must have put in a little extra practice. We're going to go 4 wide again, though, here. Logan York, the 50 of John Honeycutt, the 49 up top. Michaela looking to see. Not quite going to be able to find that move just yet. Going to try it again. 4x4 this time with John Ellis Jr. You see those 4 trucks. The 50 is going to get turned. John Honeycutt hard into the wall. Big wreck, no caution as it sits on the backstretch. And we got a bunch of guys piling up. I cannot believe the caution didn't fly. 6 laps to go, still no caution. This took out a ton of trucks. Surely this would be a manual caution, and there it is. Manual caution comes out with 6 laps to go. Garrett Maines is being shown as your leader when the caution flew. Big wreck, biggest wreck of the night to say the least. My goodness, let's take a look at it. This is going to happen for the back. In fact, let's back this up to where it actually happens here. These guys were 4 wide. You got to remember, for about half a lap, they were already doing a heck of a job as it stands. Sometimes you can only go so long. And watch who this contact's going to first start. Ooh, between John Honeycutt and the 49 of Michaela, I believe. And does Honeycutt come up? Not really. Looks like Michaela just coming down a little bit. Take one more look at this here if we can from a better view. Let's go see if we can get an onboard or a chase shot here rather with Michaela. And this, here we go. Let's see. I think the 49 truck was just slightly creeping down. Ooh, yeah, there's just not really much room there. It looked like the 49 might have tapped the wall and then coming back down, gets into the 50 of John Honeycutt, who had nowhere to go into the outside wall. And then below them, they're going to get into each other. John Ellis Jr., David Sheets make some contact. And then Danny Esserman, David Sheets, they both get together. And now the wreck is on from here. Look at the guys. This one's going to collect. Christopher McCall spinning, got nowhere to go. But all this is going to kind of pile to the inside. There's Devin Rea. That's going to be a big shot. Gets into the side of the 13. And most of the drivers involved in this all kind of shuffled down to the bottom. That might have been why iRacing didn't throw the caution. But heads up, or I guess I should say hats off, rather, to race control. And Jeffrey Ford, I believe, is doing the race control tonight and making sure to get that caution out. Is we don't want to see a race end that way, especially when you have, I think anybody that watches any sort of racing, even if you don't watch racing, it's your first time, you can say, well, that looks like a wreck to me. And Joey Allen's going to take a T-bone right there from the 19, and the 13 definitely got the worst of it. The 24 with pretty heavy damage as well. That's William Fox. In fact, let's ride on board with Mitchell Daves, as we just talked about, got the worst of it. Here we go. Let's actually go to the cockpit view here. Sorry about that. There we go. Here we go. Back it up just a little bit more here. Ooh, there it is, 13 with nowhere to go. Boom, big hit to the inside wall. Destroys the front end. It gets hit a couple more times for good measure. So back live. Let's go over your top 8 because that's the paying positions here tonight. Garrett Maines leads the way with Matt Lee 2nd, Ken McCall Jr. 3rd, Matthew Baker 4th, Alejandro Montes de Oca in 5th, Sean Wilder 6th, Logan York in 7th, and Dylan Jones currently sitting in that final paid position here tonight. Had a couple of chats there when we went green. Sometimes it's hard to read them. Larry B rooting on Clutch Racing Team. Baker's mom says, we have someone that can make them. Oh, interesting. We'll have to see about that. I think we might have to tease, just like a teaser, I guess, if you will, in the Discord, see if anybody would be interested in them. As Duck Duck says, I'm down for both color hoodies. And we actually have a logo mixed of the green and red Ghost Racing Network logo. Have to show you that one. Baker's mom says they've been driving clean, and they certainly had been. Jinxed them for sure. Duck Duck, though, says, how many green, white checkers if it's needed? Unlimited. Should be unlimited here tonight. That's what it usually is, always in the FEG Money Racing Series, which, I got to be honest, I'm a fan of that. You know, I know in real life it could be different if it were to be this way, although it's not. I've never been a fan of ending money races under caution. I feel like all these guys paid to be out here, they should have at least a chance to finish this thing under their own power. I mean, if you're under caution, you can't really control your finishing position, of course, and so I like to see those unlimited checkers. Usually we don't need too many. Usually at the most, maybe 3 or 4, but the way these guys have been racing tonight, we might not need them at all. However, it's looking like this is going to be a 2-lap shootout. I don't think this is in overtime. I think this is going to be the last 2 laps of regulation. However, if we get a caution, it would put us into our first overtime. Baker's mom was saying, good job, everyone, and then I jinxed them. You sure did. Duck says it's bound to happen, driving 4 wide, but did a great job. Yeah, I mean, 4 wide for, a lap and a half in general is a hard thing to do, but it just looked kind of unnatural from when it started. They didn't go 4 wide intentionally. It was kind of a mistake by a couple guys, and they just could not quite get things sorted out. It looks like we're going to have a little lane swap here. Garrett Maines decided he wants a push here for Matthew Baker more than he does Ken McCall Jr. He's going to shuffle himself right up to the top line for this restart. And with 2 laps to go, I think that's a great decision. Top line has been the preferred lane, but at the same time, the bottom has been able to really roll some momentum here in this new drafting package, so we will see what Matt Lee can do. Ken McCall Jr., very hungry. He has been on fire as of recent, and we will see if he can find himself into victory lane here again tonight. Good news for any Jason Maines fans out there. Actually, bad news. Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. I might have jinxed him. He does not get the lucky dog here. He was set up in lucky dog position, but we did have a couple more drivers that had went a lap down since we had checked in on him, and Joshua McCall was one of them, so I'm not sure who actually got the lucky dog. Actually, it looks like it was Ryan Bass. Joshua McCall, I thought, might have got it, but no, it was Ryan Bass, so we now have 3 trucks a lap down in Joshua McCall, Jason Maines, and looks like Mitchell Daves, who took the worst impact in that last wreck. They're all hoping for a caution, while also going to be fighting out the lucky dog here. Quick little tidbit for anybody out there watching tonight. I don't appreciate this enough, but Garrett Maines, just taking a look here at the stat line, 9,300 for his I rating. That is absolutely absurd how good this guy is. All right, 2-lap shootout, green-white checkered style. What better way to finish off a Saturday night here at Money Racing? Matthew Baker going to be pushing the 1. Ken McCall Jr. going to be pushing the 04. We're back green here at Talladega. 2 laps to go. Pretty good restart. The bottom rolling a little bit better than they wanted to, or the outside wanted them to. Matthew Baker is already locked on. Ken McCall Jr. is not far behind, but he's not quite to the bumper of Matt Lee just yet. That's going to stall both lanes as both drivers start to fall back. Who is going to win the race to the bumper here? 3, almost 4 trucks, all 10 up on the outside. Now Dylan Jones, he's looking through wide. Didn't take him long to make his move. Matthew Baker probably going to stick to Garrett Maines here. We'll see. He's going to probably have 1 shot to go 3 wide. If he doesn't, you better believe he plans on pushing that one all the way back to the stripe. Coming through turns 3 and 4. If we see the white flag, we will finish this thing under green. Now Matt Lee back up to the top. Matthew Baker now. Oh, the 91 gets turned big into the outside wall. Dylan Jones back down the track. Caution back in the air. And trying to find where this one ends up. We got trucks in the grass. 91 with big damage. Dylan Jones, as we talked about, involved in that one as well. And this one is going to send us into overtime. See what happens here. This is coming off of turn 4. Does the 91 just kind of wash up here? It certainly looks like it. And when he does so, Dylan Jones was there. They make some contact. 91 with another big shot to the outside wall. And Dylan Jones coming back down. John Mullihan, just slight contact, mostly misses him. And then somehow most of the other trucks are going to miss. Joey Allen, not so fortunate. He's going to tag the outside walls. It looks like he's pinned together there with Danny Eshelman. And then Chad Ross, he does a heck of a job sneaking by all this as well. Oh, and the 13 who was just involved in that last wreck looking for the lucky dog, Mitchell Daves. He's not going to get it because he runs hard into the back of Dylan Jones. Really didn't have anywhere to go, and that was a big hit. Let's look at it in full speed. A couple big hits here. There's the first one, and then watch the one here for Dylan Jones. Takes a shot there, and then 13 through the smoke. Not able to get checked up in time and just rams him. Take a look, spectators, the fans up in the stands, they had a pretty good view of this one. See how it looked from their point of view. And I guess before we get too far into some of the fancy replay side of it, I want to confirm what it actually looked like here. It just looked like the 91 slightly drifting up through wide racing. Sometimes that happens, but Watch Dylan Jones. You see his tires just a little bit. His right side tires just a little bit off the white line. Does he stay there? Yeah, he does. Yeah, so it's just going to be the 91 coming up. And once that contact happens, you can't really do too much about it. That's a tough break for Dylan Jones. Made a great move there, 3 wide. Looked like it was going to work out for him. I think he would have had a lot of momentum there down the straight, but the 91 was having a pretty good run there towards the end as well. Sean Wilder, this is going to potentially end his chances for the night, and your first driver that's looking like it's going to be completely out of this race is probably going to be Mitchell Daves, although we saw the front end pop out, oddly enough. He's certainly not going to get the lucky dog from this one, but it almost looks like he doesn't have the damage. Very interesting. Not sure if that counted as some net code or what the deal was. Interesting to say the least. Up front, though, Matt Lee was able to get the lead before the caution flew. Ken McCall Jr. now going to be starting on the front row. He's second. Garrett Maines back to third. Alejandro Montes de Oca up 12 spots from where he started. He sits in fourth, and Matthew Baker still up inside your top 5. Let's go a little bit farther. Logan York sixth. Ron Morse Jr. in seventh. And Logan York up 20 from where he started. Congratulations on that. David Sheets in ninth. John Ellis Jr. in eighth, by the way, of course. And then Sean Mullahan now sitting rounding out your top 10. Mark Vondell says ARCA brake on the 13. It did appear so. It definitely did appear so from that view. I can't really sugarcoat that one, but sometimes it didn't look like, I will give him the credit of it, certainly didn't look like he was going full speed. You know, I had something, you know, let's actually go back since we got time here under the caution. Let's ride on board with him here and see if it was an ARCA brake or what the deal was here. So at this point, if he's focusing on the, no, he checks up. Oh, yeah, no, I got to be honest, I take that back. I don't classify that as an ARCA brake. You know, I had something similar to this actually happen to me in the College Series race at Daytona. Sometimes as a driver, when you see that, in that case especially, I mean, if we think about it from the viewership, you can say he could have gone as far left as far left as he wanted. He had the whole track, could have gone right, but it's almost like a deer in the headlights, if you will. You see that truck, you just kind of freeze, you lock up the brakes, and you just keep the wheel straight, and all of a sudden you run right into him. Frustrating thing as a driver, you think, man, I had so many options, but you just that reaction sometimes you get as a driver. You got to try to unfreeze yourself, but nothing he could do there. I'm going to get the one to go signal this time. Sure enough, we are. First chance at overtime here. And going back to what we had some people in the chat. BB says, oi to, I believe that was Mark Vondell. Duck Duck Goose says, rowdy, Mark Vondell. Little chat between everybody. Having a good night here. 21 viewers, not too bad for a Saturday night. 26 drivers. And did Jason Maines indeed get his lap back? It sure looks like it. We're looking to see if we can get confirmation on this. In fact, let's see if we can. He did. Jason Maines was your lucky dog from that, so he's back on the lead lap. That's a dangerous man to put in that position. But he's only got 2 laps, so we'll see what he can do here. BB says, yeah, we have seen Austin. That's for sure. I'm with you on that. Thanks, BB. I certainly appreciate it. So, you know, I was trying to think if there was anything else we had to talk about tonight. In general, the racing tonight really has been good. I mean, you got to think about it. 40 laps, 4 cautions. None of them have been anybody doing anything egregious. We had a net code caution, a couple racing incidents here and there, but I've really liked what I've seen the last couple races out of FEG. Again, I didn't broadcast the 2 last. I'd heard there was a little bit of chaos. But tonight, these guys have really got it together. It's really been good, and I'm looking to potentially see. We're in for a photo finish here. We haven't seen one in a little bit. We'll see if we can get one here tonight. Last note, on the broadcast on the tower, we did make everything black and white for the numbers tonight, just trying to make it easier. In general, sometimes it's hard to get everybody's colors locked in the sake of not wanting to get anybody's colors all confused. We just decided to go with the black and white scheme, so let me know how it looks for everybody. And if you like that one, if you don't. Either way, though, the pace car is going to pull off. First chance, green-white checkered. If we can make it around to the white flag, we will make this race official. We could try it again here if we get a caution on the first lap. Matt Lee's hungry. Ken McCall Jr. is hungry. The 14 could make history here tonight, getting his first win in the FEG Money Racing Series. But he is going to have to be ready and up saddled on his horse if he wants a chance at it. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go. Down into turn 1. Matt Lee's going to get the advantage. And you got to wonder, what does he try to do here? Does he jump up to the middle, or does he stick Down low with Garrett Maines. That's a strong pusher, but I think Garrett's going to jump up to the top if the 04 doesn't. Off of turn 2. Nobody makes the move up top just yet. I think Garrett Maines is waiting for Ken McCall Jr. to get some momentum back going. And here he comes, the 3 truck. Ken McCall Jr. into turn 3. There's the momentum, and there's the move from Garrett Maines. He's going to jump up to the top. Ken McCall Jr. Does he take it 3 wide? He doesn't. He is experienced enough to know he wants to stick behind Garrett Maines, and they're going to have a lot of momentum here as we come down the front stretch to see the white flag. Starter has it in hand, and that will mean one more time around through the tribals. Still no 3 wide just yet. Gotta wonder how long before somebody makes that first move. There's the white flag. One more time around Talladega. Matt Lee on the bottom. Garrett Maines up top. Who wants to win it here? Dylan Jones further back. He's looking 3 wide. Nobody's going to get it just yet. Garrett still in tow. I think Ken McCall Jr. sticks with him, but a little bit of contact. They try to hold on to it. Now Garrett Maines spins. Big wreck up front. This is going to take out half of the field as they try to all gather it up. Big wreck, but up front, Matthew Baker escapes. And guess what? David Sheets and Ron Morris Jr., the teammates, they're going to team up on Matthew Baker. He is not going to have much to do here. There goes Ron Morris Jr. back to the bottom with David Sheets. Don't count out Chad Ross just yet. He is getting some assistance. But Matthew Baker back in line. Devin Ray, he could have a chance of this as well. This is going to come down to trouble. There goes Matthew Baker. Now Chad Ross. 3 wide up top with help from Devin Ray. Some contact between the 5 and the 38. Now Matthew Baker back to the bottom. Ron Morris Jr. is going to stick with his teammate. The drought ends for David Sheets. He wins it at Talladega. Nicely done for McCall Motorsports. David Sheets brings home the win, and Ron Morris Jr., great finish for him as well, bringing it home second. Matthew Baker 5th. Didn't have any help at the end there. That's why we'd note that. But Chad Ross, another solo driver tonight, with the assistance from Devin Ray at the end there. He gets it done, and there might be some unhappy drivers about that last lap, but it may not have been a photo finish, but man, you like to see these 2 guys get it done, and they're going to be excited about it. Hopefully we get to talk to them in the booth. David Sheets, the driver out of Wake Forest, North Carolina, always brings one of the best paint schemes here. And I've been doing some, he has had some bad luck recently, and it finally is going to have a change of luck here tonight as he brings home the win. David Sheets brings it back to burn it down. In fact, looking at the rest of your money spots, we talked about Devin Ray got in the money. Looks like Ryan Based as well. Heck of a comeback for him. He finishes in the money. And Joey Allen, 7th place. Danny Escherman, last driver, finishing the money in 8th. Very different top 7 than what it looked like we were going to see from those last 2 laps, but that's what you get here with the chaotic finish that we just witnessed at Talladega. And there you have it. McCall Motorsports with the 1-2 finish, burning it down. And it looks like David Sheets is going to go ahead and finish his burnout. So we're going to have interviews, but we really got to take a look at this last lap because it was wild. All right, here we go. This was coming to the white flag, and everything looked pretty organized here. It really did. But then all of a sudden, off of turn 2, things got really wild. We're going to go look at the chopper cam. It looked like it started with a heck of a save here from Garrett Maines, and then, yeah, Ken McCall Jr., he looked pretty squared up there. And then things are just going to get a little wild here. Ooh, maybe just ever so slightly offset left. Nothing intentional there. Ken's just trying everything he can to help Garrett. He already had committed to Garrett. I think he was ready to try to push the one all the way back to the checkered. And then right here, Ken's trying. I think Ken's trying to let him back in line. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if Garrett just was a little nervous to drop back down. What? Let's actually ride on board with Ken McCall Jr. here to see if we can exactly see what it looked like from his point of view. Yeah, Ken, you hear Ken, he is burping the throttle. At least from that sound. Let's take another listen. Listen to the throttle here. It's borderline. It sounded like he was trying to let Garrett in. I think he might have been hoping that Garrett would drop down. Those 2 obviously not on the same page as they're not on the same team. But either way, they couldn't get it figured out in time, and that leads to this big wreck. And it's, when I say a big wreck, it was big indeed. Watch how many guys this is going to take out here. Garrett Maines gets turned down into Matthew Baker, who's going to do a heck of a job missing it. Actually, Baker might have somehow avoided it. Matt Lee straight up into the outside wall, nowhere to go, and they're just going to start piling up. It's the last lap. Everybody's full gas. We're keeping an eye on some of the guys that are going to sneak through it, along with some of the guys that are going to have nowhere to go. There's Ron Morris Jr., David Sheets, Dylan Jones. He gets involved. Nothing he can do. In fact, we'll look at the blimp cam, and there is the carnage and the chaos. Finally all gets itself down to the bottom, and we're still wrecking out back. Ryan Baste is just full gas. Did go below the yellow there. Will be interesting to see how that gets scored. Race control might consider that disqualification. We'll have to see. That might have also been, though, to avoid the wreck, and if that's the case, race control might turn the blind eye to it. Let's watch this wreck one more time through the eyes of David Sheets, as he had to find his way through this one. Find his way to the win, that is. Here we go, cockpit ride with David Sheets here. He's actually behind Ron Morse Jr., and he just stays in it, dives low, it works out, and right here, Matthew Baker had to be feeling like a sitting duck. And they all pile up behind, but then they get lined up, the two teammates. But Chad Ross and Devin Rea, you got to give them a lot of props here, too. This thing was not over. They got lined up. They stayed in it, and with this new draft package, you can generate runs in a hurry. And look at that 38 and the 85. Looks like a rocket ship. Two engines are going to go a lot faster than one. Matthew Baker trying to get a little side draft, a little contact there. But at the line, by plenty of margin, David Sheets and Ron Morris Jr. Ron never came off the bumper of his teammate coming to the start-finish line, and that's how it's going to finish up. We're going to go see if we've got your top three in the booth. Stick around for interviews. We'll be right back. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Top three hopping in the booth now. We're going to start with third place finisher Chad Ross for Team 3. Chad, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Couple nights now that I've gotten to talk to you here. Good finish, but man, what a chaotic last lap. You find a way to sneak through all the chaos. How did you somehow find a way to get into the third position here on that last lap?
You know what? Just like a lot of bad luck puts me in those wrecks, it was just good luck on this one, man. I saw him. I didn't have a shot at it. You know, I got caught up in a wreck not too long ago and was stuck back there. And then all of a sudden, smoke started flying, and I picked a spot and said, "I'm not lifting. We're going to see what happens." And I came out the other end of it.
Well, I like that strategy a lot because it worked out really, really well there tonight. Now, what we saw there on the last lap, you and Devin Rea kind of working together. Was that kind of coordinated, or did it just kind of a split-second thing?
No, I really got to thank him for giving me a shove there and helping me get by Baker. He could have easily went around me, but appreciate Devin for giving me a shot in the back there. That's just how we came out of the wreck. I saw him flying up behind me, and I was like, "Oh crap, he's going to blow by," but he stuck with me, so I really appreciate him. I would probably maybe been fifth or sixth if it wasn't for that.
Well, a good run to cap off a pretty big payout here tonight. Before we let you go, though, is anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Hey, as always, man, thank you for the great job you do for us. Always great being able to talk to you. Thanks, Jeff, for putting it on. Thanks again to Devin for the push. Say hi to my friends on Team 3 if they're watching, and say hi to my dad at home.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for talking to us, and we will see you next race.
Hope so, buddy.
Chad Ross, third place finisher. Let's bring in second place finisher, Ron Morse Jr. Ron, you got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got a copy, Austin.
Well, we know David Sheets got a pretty turnaround of luck tonight, but we're going to get to him in just a moment. We got to start with you first. You and David, chaotic getting through that wreck on the last lap, but when you got through it, it was a breakaway. Baker and then you two, what was going through your head?
Man, yeah, it was crazy. I needed some luck. It's been a little bit of a dry slump. No, I got behind Baker, and I was kind of on his right rear a little bit. Was worried I was going to turn him, and then David said, "Where you at, Ron?" I said, "I'm about to be behind you." And I just pushed him, and they were coming. So I was like, man, I'm not making a move. I'm just going to push it. Let's go. Let's get this win. And was able to push David to the win and get a second, man. It was awesome. It feels like a win, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Well, the payouts are certainly going to feel like a win. Now, I know it might have been a little luck involved on that last lap, but throughout the middle portions of this race, we saw you fighting for the lead there. Was there any different strategy tonight? Did you decide to try to be aggressive from the start?
Yeah, man. Tonight is basically the last night I can race this week because I'm going out of town. And I just said, man, I'm going to give it my all tonight. I'm going to race aggressive and stay up front. And that's what I did. And I think that's what I'm going to do going forward. So wasn't no laying back. I just tried to stay up front the whole night. And it was fun. A whole lot of fun. It was some great racing tonight. Probably one of the best races I've been in here in the last couple of months, man. It was some good 3-wide racing, even some 4-wide, and it was a lot of fun, man. Everybody was holding their lines good, and it was good. No net code. It was a really good race.
And it was fun to watch up here in the booth. Well, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Oh, man, McCullough Motorsports, great team, man. WJM Motorsports, Ron's Race Paints, Ron Morse Racing. Check us out on Tuesday nights. Awesome broadcast on Tuesday nights. It's a great show on Tuesday nights. We are racing this week. I won't be here, but we are racing Tuesday night. And it's a series. It's a point series, but even if you're not in there every week, it's still good payouts. So check us out.
All right. Sounds good. Tuesday Night Thunder again. Ron giving the series a shout out. That will be broadcasted here on Ghost Racing Network as noted. Congrats on the second place finish tonight, Ron, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, appreciate it, Austin. Have a good night.
You too. All right, we're going to bring in your winner, David Sheets. David, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Ken McCall Jr., one of your teammates, always says these things comes in waves. You probably had one of the worst streaks of bad luck that I've seen in a while, but boy, you picked the right race to get a change in that luck. Man, you bring home the win tonight. What were you thinking throughout that last lap?
Yeah, just trying to hold it straight and not being involved in the accident. Very lucky there. Didn't deserve to win, but yeah, we'll take them however I can get them right now. Because, like you said, the luck has been terrible here lately.
Well, going a little bit more to that last lap, once you got through the wreck, you knew it wasn't over. You had Matthew Baker, and you knew he was going to race you hard. But when you saw Ron Morris Jr. behind you, how'd you guys communicate that plan to get you the win?
Yeah, Ron was actually on the outside of Baker right after the wreck, and I was underneath the yellow line trying to get back up. Started telling Ron where I was so he could get lined up. Luckily, we got lined up because it looks like Chad and Devin had a pretty good run coming on the outside. They probably would have got us with another couple thousand feet, but just glad Ron jumped in behind me and owe this all to him.
All right. Well, again, you break the streak tonight. Great win. Before we let you go, though, is anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just thank all my McCullough Motorsports teammates, Transmedics, LNS Customs. Appreciate Jeff putting this race on. Appreciate you broadcasting also.
All right. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see if that change of luck maybe carries on to the next race.
Yeah, hopefully we can get a good streak going now.
All right, that was your winner, David Sheets. Taking a look at the results for tonight, we just talked to him. Second place, though, is going to be Ron Morris Jr., Chad Ross in third, Devin Ray in fourth, Matthew Baker fifth, Ryan Bass sixth, Joey Allen seventh, Danny Eschman eighth. And take a moment to appreciate that top eight. Again, that is quite the mix. Not the top eight I expected to see, again, going into those last two laps. But sometimes that's just the way things end. Sixth, we just talked about through ninth is going to be Dylan Jones. Dean Grob 10th, Jason Maines 11th. Good comeback for him. Couldn't quite get in the money, though. Sean Water in 12th. Ken McCall Jr. 13th. Logan York in 14th. Matt Lee 15th. Michaela Steffs, I believe it's Steffies maybe. I hope I'm saying it right. Finishes 16th. Garrett Maines in 17th. John Ellis Jr. 18th. Casey Sawich 19th. William Fox in 20th. Christopher McCall 21st. John Honeycutt 22nd. Alejandro Montes Diaca 23rd. John Mullahan 24th. Joshua McCall, 25th, and Mitchell Daves finishing in the last place tonight in 26th position. Well, we got to give a big shout out here before we go anywhere to Baker's mom with the $1.99 donation and super chat. And this is a streak of probably about the last, 4 or 5 broadcasts that we've had at least one person donate in super chat. even if it's $1, $2, whatever, we always appreciate it. Lets us know you guys are enjoying it. So big thank you to Baker's mom. You will be making the list for next broadcast. That's about it, though. That's all I've got here for tonight. Next place I head is to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series on Monday. I hope everybody did enjoy. And until next time, have a good night.